Hi, everyone. Terry Wellbrock here, the Healing Place Podcast. Just wanted to take a quick moment before today's episode to talk about the content of this amazing upcoming conversation on energy and energy healing. And oh my gosh, so much more. I'm just so excited for you to listen in to today's episode. But be sure to listen in all the way to the end because today's guest gives you an opportunity to go download her book for free from her website. It's also available to order on Amazon, but you can go download it for free, which is really awesome. So, yeah, such a great opportunity. Yes, my healing journey is coming along well. I continue to detox from mycotoxin poisoning, and so that's been wonderful. And feeling very empowered along this healing journey. Uh, I talk so often with friends and loved ones and family, and say, I've been writing this book for, gosh, 8, 9 years now, and I've just been waiting for something, and I didn't know what it was, just something to come along. It was like a last hurdle almost in this physical illness and journey, healing journey, has been the final, I don't want to say the final straw, but just that final hurdle as I make my way through this. And oh my gosh, the lessons I've learned and the gifts I've been given through this illness. And we talk about this and on the episode today. So very powerful, incredibly powerful conversation coming up. So enjoy. Welcome, everybody, to the Healing Place podcast. I'm your host, Terry Wellbrock, and again, doing a happy dance. I always say I'm doing a happy dance, but I really, truly am. These amazing guests that come on. So today I have Tracey Whittet with me, and she is teacher, healer, intuitive, facilitator, and creator of the Transmosis Healing. So welcome, Tracey.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
Oh, for sure. And I'm so excited for you to share, well, with me selfishly, because I'm so excited to learn about it, but with the audience of Transmosis Healing. But before we get into that, can you just talk a little bit about what led you down this road to where you are right now?
I have always been interested in holistic health, in energy, clearings, work. It's just fascinating to me. It's like I was thinking about this, like, when did I think about this stuff? When did I start? And my father gave me a poster of Taurus. I was born on April 21st, so I'm right on the cusp. And so I started learning about astrology maybe as a teenager, and then numerology. And I just really have an affinity and I like it. It's interesting to study the esoteric arts, anything invisible, the sacred, spirit. So I used to kid, and I don't mean it in any derogatory way, but I'm like an energy work junkie. I love to learn. I love to experience energy because it's cool. I don't know. I don't even know how to even technically say how come I love it. I just do. I guess I'm a natural intuitive, because it's like a fish in water. You don't even know you're intuitive, because then there's no contrast to know different. And as I started learning energy work and things, I realized, oh, I think I might have a gift here. I'm sharing what I hear and I see on the inner, and it seems to help people. So it's a gift, and it's not even me, it's the divine grace coming through me that assists people. And so I decided, yes, I will show up. I will do this work 100% of the time. Whereas before I worked in corporate America, and it's like you have to kind of put on two hats then. You can't, hi, I do energy work, because they look at you with three heads. It's
Right.
so I have discrimination about it. And yeah, it's just a natural inclination. I wouldn't call myself a psychic. I wouldn't call myself a medium. However, I have those abilities apparently. It's more, that's why I said intuitive, because it's just like the energy all around, and I just seem to be able to interpret it and share it, and somehow that helps people.
Yes. Well, and I love your answer because it is, I think, I know for me now, you gained almost like, I don't want to use the word addiction, but the just that craving for it very early, but I've recently discovered it. And once you once you connect with it and realize it and let it flow and once it starts happening, oh, I totally get what you're saying. So I have that same almost like just a need to keep connecting to it and keep allowing it to flow. And it's wonderful and beautiful. Yes.
Yes, yes, it expands your world. I mean, there's so much more available to us if you look at the invisible worlds. Some people have the gift to see with their eyes open and such, but there's 99% of us is invisible. And so can you imagine what else is going on if only 1% is visible here? That is very curious to my mercurial mind. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm very curious about it, and it seems to be where the real reality is. Like they talk about your dreams, but when we're awake here, like talking right now, this is like a waking dream. It's like, what's real? I mean, I could share some experiences, or one that I had where is it okay to share this?
Sure, of
I was
course.
driving my car. I mean, I'm going 55 miles an hour along the foothills in Boulder County, Colorado, and I'm on my way to work. And all of a sudden, the entire, it's just 2 lanes, everything was just blue, white light. And it was silent. And then all of a sudden, I had my vision come back kind of myopic, just like this. And then it's expanded out. And I remember it looking like a movie screen. And my hands are still on the wheel and stuff. And then all of a sudden, the sound and the movement came at the same time. And I'm like, whoa, what just happened?
Did I go through a wormhole? Like what happened?
So I know that this is fake, that I know that this isn't real, but it sure looks real. And I don't know why that experience happened. It's not like I swung a chicken over my head and conjured it in, kind of a thing. It just happened. And I've asked lots of people, and one person was a Vedic astrologer, numerologist, and he was actually friends with Sai Baba, an Indian prince. And he said that it's called samadhi, that we usually don't do that while you're driving your car, but it was an experience, an inner world experience that I had that I will never forget. So my mind knows that this isn't real, but it's still an illusion that looks very real, and I honor it and experience it here. But I don't know. I think that was a gift. I mean,
Yes.
I choose to look at it that way, that it is a gift. Anything
Wow.
that happens, whether it's negative or positive, it's a gift. Because if it's
Yes.
negative, then we can look at our own attitude and our perception and just discern, what is this about, and not resist it right away, and kind of like embrace it. Even if it's a painful emotion, it feels like rejection, this and that, it's all for our own divine good. It's all for our highest and greatest good, to help us grow, to help us remember who we really are, because I think we are soul walking around in human bodies. We're divine. So that's kind of like my high level philosophy of life. And I love talking to people about it, because I couldn't when I was in corporate America for 40 years or whatever. I could, but there were very few people that I could tell that we could have a deep, real, authentic, genuine conversation.
Right. Right.
So
I
how's the weather?
understand. Well, and one of the things that popped in my head as you were talking, so really then talking about us being the divine but also of this earth, which
Yeah.
I'll tell you after we record my fascinating experience in a harmonic egg with that same sort of message and oh my gosh, it was so powerful. But so really that leads me to one of the things you talked about with me in our communications back and forth, which it was that co-creator. Can you talk a little bit about what that means?
Well, to me, we're all made of the same essence. We all came from source, the quantum field. We're all of the same essence, and therefore, if we're all in this energetic invisible soup of that same essence, why wouldn't it logically make sense that we can do what Jesus said, that things I do, you will do greater, or whatever the quote is. Sorry, I'm not very good at remembering it verbatim. And I think that we're light, and I think that we're sound. And I think that the vibrations slow down a little bit when we're in a physical body. But like when you dream or whatever, you can just go over here and go over. I mean, I think that's real. And so our voice, if we're light and sound, I almost feel like sound is the light expressing itself. So if we're light and it looks like we're solid, but we're really vibrating fast and we're not even here, apparently, that when we use our voice, when we use our intention, when we use our focus, typically we can manifest whatever we want. The difficulty is in discerning or knowing what we want, especially for me, because I like everything. So it's like, I like it all. How do I just narrow it down to one thing? But what has happened is it's coagulated kind of into a pattern of, I like energy work, and this seems to be my natural forte. And so why not be the expression of God, source, creator, whatever you want to call it? Whatever your belief system is, it's fine. It's just all of the same substance. It's all of the same essence. So we are actually just taking our power back and activating who we really are, because we have this ability. And I don't mean power as in overpowering people. It's all love. And so why not focus on love and make your life better, higher, and attract things to you that are of like substance? I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it totally does. Yes.
Yeah.
And I the only reason I didn't bring up what had happened in the egg was I talked about it on the last episode, but I'm going to talk about it again because so in this harmonic egg that I was directed to go to, because I'm going through this physical challenge the past year and a half, and I'm learning the lessons from it and realizing there's lessons to be had, but it's led me to just some amazing healing. Well, this harmonic egg, the whole premise of it is, once you get inside of it, it's sound, light, and vibration.
See?
Yes. And so when I was in it, the experiences I had, like, I'm not kidding when I say I went to other galaxies, like I was given tremendous downloads of information. I was given so many lessons about the light, the darkness. I am both of the earth and of the light, and taken to the veil. Like, I mean, just amazingly beautiful, powerful, life-altering stuff. And this was just like 2 weeks ago. And so when you're talking about this, I'm like, oh, for sure. Light, sound, all of it. Yes.
And our voice is that also. It's a harmonic. And, kudos to you for having that expansion experience, because it's like, you can't make that up.
No. I came out of it and I said, that was the realest thing I've ever experienced. And
exactly.
I mean, I don't know how to explain it other than that.
Yeah, because it was a direct experience. It was direct contact.
Yeah.
And it's very sacred. It's very personal. It's not phenomenal. It's deeper. It's higher in frequency than that. It's of the soul realm. It's of the God realms, the higher consciousness realms. So you are very blessed to have that experience. Yes.
Thank you. And I feel it. And I was like, wow, thank you.
And it takes a while to integrate. It does. Doing all the right things, like drinking the pure water, eating organic food, all of that. And just noticing how we are creating with every thought, with every feeling, with every experience, with every reaction. And that's where we can learn to master ourself, reparent ourself to create what we want. I mean, it's self-responsibility. And to me, that sounds like drudgery, and I don't mean it to be like a burden, but it truly is. It's our self-responsibility to act like we are the divine, like we are God, we are source, because we are. And so it's kind of like that funny joke of like, what is his name? It's like, well, what would Jesus do? What would God do? What would, I can't remember. He's some funny guy with martial arts or something like that. It'll come to
Oh,
me.
Chuck Norris.
Thank you. What would
Yes.
Chuck Norris do?
Yes.
It's like, what would Tracey do? What would Terry do? Like, if you could react and be and have healing starts with attitude. And that's like our fixed condition in the mind. And if you could actually let go of your predispositions from the past, because we're supposed to be present, right? And it's kind of difficult to be present when we've got all this past life or this life traumas. And even if it's stuff happening from our DNA ancestry that we don't even know what happened 20 generations back, that is in our self, it's in our field. And so when you do clearing or energy work, you kind of like, it's kind of like soul homeopathy, like cures like. When you meet it, when you accept it, when you acknowledge it, and you trust what you're receiving, like that experience that you had, when you trust it, it's not made up. It's real. It's actually realer, if that's a word, than this world here, right?
Yes.
And yeah, I just think that was a real blessing for you, a real gift, a real, yeah. I've had weird experiences like walking across a planet in my mind's eye. I'm like, is that possible? Yeah,
I say
sure.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially after that. But what the thing was, you had mentioned intention, and I don't know if it was what, you know, you had written to me, or if you mentioned it earlier
Sure.
when we were talking.
Yeah.
But it was set an intention. And so, you know, the guide that was the person that owns this facility, we just had a moment where I just set my intention, and I did allow myself, like, I'm going to just allow whatever is to be to happen.
Yeah.
And my intention was to welcome healing.
Wow.
And that's what I experienced. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to trust this healing process, and that what's supposed to happen will happen in time.
That's
And
the magic word, trust.
yeah.
Really trusting it and asking, can I have a healing, or can you show me something about healing? And then trusting it, and then acknowledging it like you did, and then accepting it.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a short cliff notes of a curriculum I'd like to teach, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Empower.
that's what I wanted to ask about then is, you know, like, so Transmosis Healing, is that what you do? Guide people along in just
Well,
have them trust you with, or learn to trust themselves, I guess.
so what happens is, well, first of all, I used to say it's a made up word, but Spirit gave it to me while I was doing some energy work on someone. It was actually Reiki. And I heard the word transmosis. I guess I'm clairaudient because I hear it's like a still small voice. And nobody could tell me what the definition meant. Even channelers, everybody I asked, nobody knew. So I started researching it myself, like transformation, you know, crossing over, that kind of a form, transmutation. And then mosis, it's like osmosis, you know, it has that membrane thing where the lighter concentration goes to the more concentrated solution through a membrane. It's like through osmosis that you receive it, or it moves or whatever. And so I like to read it because the definition that I got myself when I asked, I'm like, what is transmosis? And it is an unconscious transfer and assimilation of higher energies to raise the recipient's energy to equal the source energy. So that's pretty broad.
My head tingled as you read it.
I think that means truth, because it's I don't talk like that. So what happens with the transmosis healing process? So I decided to use the word, since it was divinely anointed to me, to describe the unique integrative process that I do, because I've taken lots of energy work classes. Sometimes a body wants Reiki, sometimes a body wants access consciousness, you know, to remove the limitations of, you know, you have 32 points on your head, and they represent your life, and you can remove the bars of limitation, like the temple is the healing point. So energy is going back and forth, and you say this wild clearing statement: right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. It's like boop, but it energetically clears you of things that you don't even need to know what they are. So with Transmosis, when someone wants to have a one-on-one session, it's about an hour and a half, because the first half hour we're kind of talking about, okay, so tell me on your list, I have people fill out a form. What do you want to work on? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And then oftentimes when I've worked with people, sometimes they go, oh, I don't know, whatever spirit says. And it's like, well, that's a big open space, and I want to give you exactly what you need. So I created an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of paper that has everything that needs to be cleared, that could be cleared, that I know of in this time now. What could it be? So I call the person in, 100% pure divine light. I ask for their highest and greatest good, and then I ask to be shown. And then I use applied kinesiology. I muscle test to see what's a yes, what's a no, because I don't know the person, or I don't know what they've put on their list, or they didn't give me a list. So we talk about what you want to work on and what I got that maybe, I'll say, hey, I got this word about abuse. Does that mean anything to you? And then they'll go, oh yeah, that's right on, blah, 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 and they'll share. And it's not about reiterating the story, but what I feel happens is when we're in this sacred union together, one-on-one, you talk about what you want to work on. I talk about what I got that spirit wants you to work with, or what would it be helpful. And I feel like the guides of 100% pure divine light are listening. We're all one. And so they're listening, but then we consecrate the session, and I call in your guides of 100% pure divine light. And I ask for Terry's highest and greatest good to be done for herself and for all concerned. See, again, that wholeness, that oneness. And then I call in my guides of 100% pure divine light, so that I can be a pure divine channel of truth, wisdom, and healing love that is in your highest and greatest good. And then I invite us both to take our egos and personalities and place them outside the consecrated space, so that we can both be as close as possible to pure divine consciousness. And then I ask to be shown. And then I'll hear, like, start on Terry's mother's side of the family, 20 generations back. And then we just go through the sequences and the protocols using the light tools. So the light tools that I use, or that I've been shared, I learned this through multidimensional body balancing class, but yet I also worked with Saint Germain 20 years ago and doing some energy work that uses the violet flame. So it's all one thing, but I call it Transmosis because that was the word given to me, and it does that. Like when I've done Reiki with people, someone says, that's different than other Reiki I've had. And the only thing that I can think of that's unique and different about how it comes through my filter and consciousness is that, number one, I intend to be as pure as possible, because and if I've learned Reiki, I want to do their protocol exactly as it is done. Healing touch, exactly. Theta healing, exactly. Divine healing hands, exactly. So I have this purity of heart, this innocence of heart, where I wouldn't say I'm doing this when I'm doing that. I'm very transparent and saying, okay, so this is access. This is an access clearing statement, or this is Transmosis, multidimensional body balancing. So I know that's a lot of words, but it's basically just following the energy. And then I record the session on my phone, so there's an audio file. And this works over Zoom as well. It doesn't have to be in person, because energy's everywhere. And so I record the session, and then I send it to someone who wants it to listen to it again, because that way, while you're in the receiving mode and you're open, like we clear the hand chakras that clear the field. We clear the chakras that may be blocked or not open, so that all the energy is flowing, so that you can receive it at the deepest possible level, the words that come through. And like the words that I'm saying sometimes maybe doesn't even matter, because it's more like the guides use me as an instrument, and the vibratory sound and harmonic that comes through my voice is what's doing the healing. And it's like when you were a kid and your parents or nanny or whoever was reading you a story, they might describe what they hear and they see, or they're describing it in the story. So it's somewhat like a soul journey. And I share what I hear and I see, and I might see a red barn and I'll describe it, but someone else in their own imagination, in their own source of life, sees it a certain way. And I don't know how it works, truly. It's like alchemy. It's what I say and what I hear and I see seems to heal somehow. It matches. And there are directives, like there's light and dark. Light is at 10, and the dark, it could be called any, 9 to 1, whether it's a gargoyle, an arc demon, all these gross words that I guess they exist, but the dark never prevails. The light always wins. And so what we do, and I say we because it's like the divine guides of 100% pure divine light. And I want to stress that for the listeners and you, because I used to call in Saint Germain, for example, and I thought I was working with Saint Germain, the pure energy of Saint Germain in this example. But when I had my first energetic clearing, my teacher, Vicky Cashman, she said, all right, let's call in Tracey's guides of 100% pure divine light. And then she was silent. And I'm like, what's going on? I asked her, what's happening? And she said, well, there's a changing of the guard. I'm like, oh, I thought I was working with pure divine light, but maybe not, right? So I just want to stress, when you call in something, have the intention of 100% pure divine light so that you receive 100% pure divine light. I think the universe is pretty literal. I think it listens. I think I had it in my heart, but I didn't have the awareness that I needed to state 100% pure divine light.
Oh my gosh, you are so speaking to me on so many levels. I'm just like, wow.
It's multidimensional.
Yes, I'm telling you. I've always prayed to, like, my three kids. I always prayed to their guardian angels, to protect them and so forth. And I grew up Catholic, so I'll, say a prayer to Mary, put her mantle of protection over them. And but with my angels, for whatever reason, in like the past couple of months, I've started saying, instead of saying, all right, angels and spirit guides, I will say, all right, angels and spirit guides from God and light and source. Like that's the way I've been asking it for whatever reason. Like, I don't know, the little angel whisper was like, hey, you need to say it this way. But I like the way you say it. I'm going to use that from now on.
100% pure divine light. Pretty clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this work is spiritual hygiene. We brush our teeth, we wash our hair, we wash our bodies, we look at our thoughts, we notice our feelings, but we don't really think about cleaning up our energy because we're not aware of it, because it's invisible. I wasn't aware of it. But I'd like to put it into like layman's terms, if you will, everyday, ordinary, divine, practical devotion to yourself. Is to clean and clear your own energy. And you don't do it, but you call in the guides of 100% pure divine light, and you just ask, violet consuming flame, please clean, clear, cleanse, heal, harmonize, and balance me on all levels, layers, timelines, and dimensions. Bam, done, And we go through our day, and we go to the grocery store, we go to school, we go to work, whatever. Energies can get kind of attached to us. And, spiritual traditions teach us to be detached. But if we're charged, positive or negative, we can attract energies to us that can glom on. And so it's nice to take a shower every day with the light. and one really quick, maybe easy way to do it would be to call forth a rainbow light waterfall. Just, all the colors of the rainbow. And just stand under it and let it wash you clean. We're so powerful, and we forget how simple it really can be. To complicate it, kind of, but I wanted to share this because it's interesting. We have 6 bodies. We have a physical body, but we have all these invisible bodies. Lots of times on the internet, or if you look at a drawing, it shows it like a rainbow light outside of us. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of funny because it's opposite day. I mean, it's like these are inner bodies. These are inner realms, and energies can get stuck in the inner realms in some of those bodies, whether it's etheric or astral or mental, those different bodies that are holograms that look just like our physical body. But then 80% of the time, when we have a trauma or a wound or a disconnect, something happens, 80% of the time it gets lodged in the nervous system, the endocrine system, and the chakra system. And again, they all work in concert, but it's like I wouldn't know where to go with the light tools and the commands unless I asked this co-creative experience, unless I asked the divine or the guides of 100% pure divine light, show me where it is. And I might hear nervous system of the astral body. So I'll call up the astral body of you, for example, and look at the nervous system, and I can kind of see if there is a little bit of darkness in, I don't know, the brain, or, you know, in the spine, or wherever in the nervous system. And this is where all of us are right now. It's almost like I want to do a mini healing here and see if it helps people. But I'd like to call in everybody that's listening or listens to it later, that we call in your guides of 100% pure divine light, and we ask for your highest and greatest good to be done for yourself and for all concerned. And I'm going to call in my guides of 100% pure divine light, and I want to ask that I be a pure divine vessel of truth, wisdom, and healing love for your highest and greatest good. And then I want to call in everybody's nervous system of the astral body, like the emotional body and our nervous system. And you look at the world and the news and everything that's going on, of course, it's going to rattle us, right? And we have the sympathetic nervous system that helps us run away from the saber-toothed tiger. And then we have the parasympathetic, like the parachute. It pulls it back down because, you know, our body's always trying to have homeostasis and balance. So I call in everybody's nervous systems of the astral body, and we place them in this big fight or flight room. And let's say the highest is 10. We're going to call forth the violet consuming flame to consume all rips, tears, cracks, all non-beneficial frequencies, so that we can be returned to our current divine blueprint. And it's like you see this scale just pulling it down, like to 9, 8, 7. So you just tone it down, and the light is doing the work and clearing it out. And then when it gets to 0 or 1, we say restore, reset, recalibrate, and integrate. I was going to think there's another word: restore, reset, regenerate, recalibrate, and integrate. And then everybody's nervous system of the astral body comes through the rainbow light waterfall, returns to present time. And then I ask, is there anything else that you need? And I get no. You know, my body's kind of like a pendulum. Yes is up in my throat and no is in my stomach area. And then I ask the nervous system of the astral body to reintegrate into the rest of all the other bodies. And then clean, clear, cleanse, heal, harmonize, and balance on all levels, layers, timelines, and dimensions. But we don't want to leave it open. So we heal and seal with liquid golden light. And we activate upward spirals. We reverse any implosions and contractions, any shearings. We just return everything to its exact right place within your body, within the nervous system. And then we anchor and hold it with divine protection of truth, wisdom, and healing love for your greatest and highest good, for yourself and for all concerned. So that's just like a snippet of all the sequences and protocols that can come in a session, but it could be the endocrine, could be the soul body, it could be your ancestors. Usually we clear everybody's mother and father side, however many generations back.
I have a crazy question to ask as you went through that. So many times my little sister and I, and then through the show, a lot of times people who have been through trauma, I had horrific trauma my first 22 years of life. Oh. So we've talked about finding comfort in the chaos. And so there's almost a fear of healing, a fear of letting it go, because what will that be? I've lived so long with having this as my normal. I mean, this was what it was to deal with. Right. You know, obviously I've done healing, but panic attacks and just always at a heightened state, and, you know, where's the exit and all of that stuff. So does the body know, like when you're doing this healing work and you're working with someone? And so I was just here in the moment with you and just allowing, but it was almost like I could feel myself put the brakes on at one point, like, hold up. Okay, that's all we're going to do right now. Does that happen?
Well, I think that's called resistance.
Okay.
And fear, because of what's happened in the past showed you to do that, to react that way, to protect yourself. But you have to remember that it is 100% pure divine light, and it's love. It's all love. And it is to, I think, no one's ever asked me that before. No one's expressed the resistance out loud. But, it's painful, and you don't want to go through it again. Because sometimes in therapy, people talk and then they re-traumatize themselves because they're reliving it in their cells. Okay, so let's do this for you. We're going to call in the violet consuming flame, and we're going to scramble, neutralize, and dissolve all negative holographic feeling pictures. We're going to scramble, neutralize, and dissolve all negative holographic cellular memories. And we're going to scramble, neutralize, and dissolve all negative beliefs and statements. Woo! Yeah. So, I was just doing a snippet out of all of this that we have the tools to do.
Right.
That was perfect because we wanted to clean that up so that you would feel safe and allow the divine to help you, because you're a divine human being. You're physical, you're human, but you're also divine, and aligning like soul alignment with the divine, your life goes a lot better. And, I don't want to do it on the call, but, we could clean up all of that darkness through whatever body or system or level or layer. Is it subconscious? Is it molecular? Is it quantum? Did it happen when you were 0 to 5 years? There's so much on my map that, it seems like, oh my God, an hour and a half? That's a long time. But we have to start cleaning up somewhere, cleaning up so that we can remember who we really are and actually offer our gifts to the world as present and clean and clear as possible. So I do this every morning. I called in my guides of 100% pure divine light, and I asked, clean, clear, cleanse, heal, harmonize, and balance me. And, it seems like could have had a V8. Why didn't I think of that? It's so simple, but we're focused on the outer world, which is that, 1%. And the 99% where the action is on the inside and in those inner realms where we can have help. They say, oh, you're never alone. Well, sure feels like it sometimes.
Right.
And you get these experiences, direct experiences like you described in the harmonic egg. There's a lot of technologies coming out now that are assisting us to have more light in our bodies so that we can be empowered, and I don't want to get into conspiracy theories and all of that, but the outer world's been, I always see the outer world of my reality like a like invisible scaffolding. It's like holding my reality in place. And when someone has their bars run, like all 32 points on the head for a whole session in person, touching their head and releasing and clearing statement and all of that, the warning would be, your world is different now. Your reality is different. And just be gentle with yourself as you get your sea legs and you reacclimate to, oh, you mean more trauma's not coming? Oh, they're not, my family members aren't going to react the same negative way that they used to. Oh, you have to get used to reparenting yourself in a new paradigm, in a new energy, because you're a new energy, and our body does it naturally. What do they say? Every 7 years you have a whole new body, even though organs and things like that, those tissues replicate or change, regenerate much quicker. But they say you're a new person every 7 years.
I love it. Well, and that was, thank you so much for answering my question, because so many of my audience are trauma survivors. And I know, again, I was speaking, but I would guess that there were other people that are listening right now that may have had a similar reaction. So it was a beautiful answer, and thank you.
I think we have to get back to trusting ourselves, because I've had bad experiences and traumatic experiences, lots of death, lots of stuff. And maybe that's why I was an energy work junkie, is that I would do anything to heal. I've done therapy. I just did all of these things to be the best person I can be. Sounds like I'm going into the army here, but be the best you can be. And, in work, when I worked in corporate, I was really good or interested in process improvement. It's always about improvement. How can we be better? What can I do? The only thing I can change is myself. The only thing I can change is my attitude and the way I respond. So how can I empower myself to be as clear as possible so that my reality is showing me the right choices to make? Because it's, again, coming back to that self-responsibility thing. Like, oh, I don't want to go down that dark alley where there's drunk people that look homeless and stuff. Oh, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to create more drama in my life. Oh, let's go over here where there's like peace, love, and harmony, and they're flying kites or whatever. I'm just doing the two extremes. But we can make those choices every 10 seconds. Like, you can make a choice and go, oh, shouldn't have done that. Never mind.
Right.
I should have not gone to that party. I knew I didn't want to go. I knew I didn't want to go to that social event. And then just honoring your body and listening to it and trusting it. It'll never lie to you. It will always tell you. It's just like that gut feeling down here, that's fear, and like it's something's not right here. Trust that barometer of your own vessel, your own vehicle. We're all doing the best we can. I am too. And if Transmosis Healing can help others, then I'm all for it. And one-on-ones, doing that one-on-one is deep and fascinating and an honor to serve that way. But it's like, wait, I need to get this out there to more people. So I'm in process of creating a course so that people that want to learn how to do the work is one thing, but also a self-healing course so people can learn how to do it for themselves. And the other thing, if I could plug a book that myself and two other ladies wrote, it's called The Magi Within, Unlocking the Gifts of the Inner Self. And it is a workbook that teaches people and empowers people to go within. So it's letters A through Z, and A is awareness, K is kindness. And you just kind of randomly open the book and see what you get. But first you do a meditation, and we guide you through the meditation. And you connect with yourself, and it teaches people to work with themselves in a really fun, easy way. And there's artwork that goes with it. And you just answer the questions to yourself throughout the day, like kindness. Like, people are working with kindness today. Well, then when somebody cuts you off in traffic, it's like, are you going to be kind? Or, you just kind of like start working with yourself and noticing that you know what you know, and to trust your intuition. And I do offer it as a free gift. It's a PDF. You'd have to print it. You can get it on Amazon, The Magi Within, but if you go to TraceyWhittet.com, you can download it for free if you'd like, because I want to get that out. It's not like, it's just to empower people to be to trust their own intuition, to really be who they are, because we are all divine. So why not cultivate that and allow ourselves to be powerful in a loving way with ourself, self-love, and with others.
Yes. Amen. Oh, and again, I say, I mean, it just becomes, once you have a taste of it, then it's just like, addiction is not the right word. And I can't, it just becomes, and that obsession, I can't think of the word. Like, it just becomes this, like, you have to have more. It's a need, I guess.
It's called love.
Love.
It's love.
It is love.
You want more love, and you're loving yourself. You're loving life. I mean, it's taken me, I think I'm in the, what do you call that, late bloomer category? Because it's taken me a really long time to really, really love myself and put me first. I'm like a people pleaser and all of that.
Yeah.
And to realize that, oh, I thought I was co-creating, and I am. I thought I was in charge. I thought I was really directing my life. But now I'm in a bigger relationship with the universe, and I'm not pushing through it. With the divine, with God, with source, however you want to look at it. It's like, pay attention, look at the signs. Things are going great. Keep going great. Like you said, I can't not want, I want it. I have to do this now.
Yeah.
And it's because it feels good. It's because it's truth for you, and it expands you, and it's some of the questions in Access Consciousness, when you ask a question that's open-ended, it expands energy. Like, how does it get any better than this? Or what else is possible? Like, you just keep expanding, because that's who you really are, your true nature. But if you conclude or ask closed-end questions, oh, it's probably, it can't possibly get any better than this, can it? Boom, the energy's contracted. So if you just keep staying in the question of what should I do now? It's like being in relationship with the divine, with the attraction of the field of all that's around you, with the divine, with love, with the essence of who the substance, how we started, like the substance of who we really are. It's like vibrating at a higher frequency naturally. And you don't have to do drugs. You don't have to take alcohol to calm down, or, you know, I'm pretty darn pure now. I mean, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything.
Me either.
I have the divine, you know. It's just, I go within, I connect with myself, I connect with my guides, and then I ask, show me, just show me, and I'm directed. And if I follow the energy that's light, feels good, then my life works out better. If I follow the energy of heaviness, and I don't really want to do that, but I feel obligated, I have to, then things don't really go well. And I need to trust my body. I need to say, no, thank you. Thanks for inviting me, but no, not right now. And it's nothing to do with them or anything. It's just wherever I'm at. I don't know. I know that I don't know.
Right.
That's what I mean by the relationship with the universe. It's
well,
like
that's that trust part of it. You're trusting
exactly
that light, that love. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. My mind going in a million different directions with it all. I love it. I love it. So was there anything else? I know we had a lot of other questions that we could go to, but I just wanted to give you a chance of anything else that you wanted to talk about before we close out.
I think we've covered it all, and I just wish and want, I want harmony in this world. How can we do that? And I think it's a grassroots effort. I think it begins with the individual and knowing the truth that you are a divine being, and in knowing the truth that you can affect your life, that you're not a victim, that you are you can be a victor. It's just changing maybe just a perspective 1 degree over, you know, just looking at it a little bit differently. It's just wanting people to have deep compassion for themselves. It's rough here on planet Earth. It's, you know, the suffering that happens is like, really? I'm still walking around in this body and I'm willing to be here with everything that's going on. I mean, I have deep compassion for the suffering. I like right now I'm feeling my heart just like open. And you know, it's not about me. It's about connecting to the divine. And I can introduce you if you need that, but you have the power within you now just to breathe and notice and connect and love yourself in little ways or big ways. And it's not selfish. It's really important to love ourselves. Hydrate our body, feed it great fuel, organic as possible, no Roundup if possible, movement, you know, exercise, all of those things that we know we're supposed to do that seem too simple, do them.
Yes, amen. And I love it. Well, and that's why I say, like, this whole illness that so I have mycotoxin poisoning from mold exposure, and but the gifts that I've come across, I mean, so now I eat organic whole foods. We just found out we have this garden plot. There was a waiting list in a farm in our neighborhood. And so we're going to be growing our own foods as a family. And we're all so excited. We're picking out what, you know, what we want to grow and the meals we're going to make. And so, I mean, there's just been so many blessings that have come from this. But I did jokingly say to God one time, like, I don't know what line I got into when I was signing up for Earth School, but I apparently was going for the double PhD program, and I'm changing my mind on that.
Right. Right. There's that choice every 10 seconds.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of things that we can do and empower ourselves. And in our own homes, can I show you something on the screen?
Sure. Yeah.
I just got it. So there's a lot of energy technology out there. And what I think is fabulous is that we are allowed as human beings to be empowered to have light tools in our home. And I've been studying the EE system, which is energy enhancement system. It's scalar energy. It's fabulous. You heard of it with Dr. Michael? So we have a place that's like, I don't know, less than a mile from me. So I go over there and I sit in front of the screens and I just feel altered for hours afterwards. But the Chinese people have created a home device.
Yeah, the wand.
Have you heard of it?
Yeah, it just came across my radar like 10 days ago.
It's a wand. And
the wand.
It's like a little blow dryer thing, and you put light into your body. And so if anyone wants one, reach out. I don't have it on the website or anything, but I want to get it. I think every home should have one in their home, because who knows what's coming, and it's not a fear thing. It's just putting light into our body, through the divine and everything, and through consciousness, and through me and you and everybody else. But to have a tool where we can empower ourselves, get one. iTerracare. It's scalar energy of the EE system in a miniaturized fashion in your home with the terahertz, which is what our cells vibrate
at. It's like a step above or below microwave level. Or I was reading about it because it was a previous podcast guest who messaged me and said, hey, if you haven't heard of this and tried this, here you go. I said, all right.
Yes. So it's shared through distributors. So if anyone wants one, I'm happy to help onboard you, if you will. It's not like a hard sell, but it's $350 and you have it in your home and you have it for years. I would guess more than 10. I don't know for sure. But anyway, I kind of did that before we got on, so I'm a little high on the
energy high. Yeah. See, I was right when I was saying, like, it's an addiction. It's a craving. It's because it's so beautiful and so pure. And when I say this, and again, I talk about it so often on this show, but this is like, I live on Hilton Head Island, which is just nature and beautiful. And I can't even, like, every day I'm like, I cannot believe I live in paradise. It's so incredibly beautiful. But to me, it's seeing the alligator floating in the lagoon, and I just stop and I'm like, oh, hi, buddy. Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. And no, I don't want to hug him, but I'm just appreciating this exchange of energy, and I can almost feel this exchange happening between my appreciation of this beautiful being and so again, it's just always like, now I'm feeling it from trees and the little lizards when I'm watering my plants, and it's just and so I'm constantly opening myself and allowing that flow, and it is magnificent. And so thank you for teaching people. Yeah,
that's the healing right there. And instead of addiction, how about if we use the word natural inclination? It's just, I want more good stuff. Why not?
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's part of it, is that we were so indoctrinated, I guess, with societal norms of what we were supposed to be doing or allowed to be doing and what was acceptable. And now so many of us, you doing your beautiful work outside of corporate America and following your heart and the light. And my gosh, I think more and more people are coming to understand that just allow ourselves to open up to all of this, and
it's an awakening.
Live within these norms, right?
Again, it's that trust. You go back in the inner realms. The outer world has told us how conditioned how to be, but there's always been a hierarchy in charge, and now it's more like a synarchy, like we're all collaboratively working together to uplift ourselves and humanity. By doing it for ourselves, it's like homeopathy, it's like, there's a resonance that it's like critical mass eventually will happen. People
Yeah.
will keep, more and more people are waking up. I just went to the Frogurt shop before this call and ended up talking with the owner, and she's a natural healer too. I mean, these conversations you never would normally have, that
Right.
people are feeling safer, or I was, to approach her and talk to her about Transmosis Healing. And then she does it too. It's like, wow, not transmosis, but healing. I mean, healing is healing.
Yes. Oh, and again, I started this Healers of Hilton Head series I'm going to do as a little mini show on the podcast.
Oh.
And so I started reaching out to all these healers. Well, I ended up going to a chiropractor, but she does what you talked about and what you do of the applied kinesiology. Did I say it right?
It's energy in motion, kinesiology.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so she did it on me, and she came up with like this Indian healing clay for this horrible rash that I had all over my skin. Well, I got in a bath this morning with it, and it's been wonderful. And because
your body told
that
her
message.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
your body doesn't lie.
Oh,
it doesn't lie.
No, it's wonderful.
It's an instrument, and you want to fine tune it and take care of it and give it fuel and polish it up with the light.
Right. Yes. But that's what I loved. I'm like, oh my gosh, well, who would have thought, like a chiropractor, but for her to be able to talk about this, and then all these other healers that now are coming across my radar. And so you're right. I went to the groomer, and my groomer started talking about it. So I get it. Like, I love it that these conversations are happening. So keep talking about it, people.
Yeah. Consciousness. Woohoo.
Oh my goodness. Well, again, I could sit and talk to you for hours. So how do people connect with you? How do they get in touch with you?
They can go to my website, TraceyWhittet.com. I'll spell it TraceyWhittet.com. And, Tracey at TraceyWhittet.com. And I could give my phone number, but that might be weird. I mean, but it's on there, with the website. Yeah. And I try and explain what transmosis is, because again, it's talking about something invisible in the inner worlds. And it's very grounded, sacred. It's not woo-woo, it's not phenomenal. It's the real thing that can be taught, and that you can just empower yourself with and use it for yourself later. And then the free book thing is on there too. It's awesome. At the top where it has the tabs or whatever, it has book there, and you could just get the book for free and start empowering yourself that way. I want to empower the world, man. I want to heal the world, but I can't do it alone.
You. Yes. Yeah. And I'm so glad you're on the show, so you can reach so many around the world.
Thank you.
I think this podcast is downloaded in 115 countries and growing. So I love it.
To you, Terry. That's huge. That's awesome. Congratulations.
I tell you, when I look at like my top 10 list, which it fluctuates a little bit, but I'm like, okay, United States, I'm in the US. So yeah, that's number one. But then it'll be like Australia and Denmark and Germany and Japan and UK, Canada. And so I think, oh my gosh, someone in Denmark or Turkey is sitting down and listening to this conversation. And I love that.
You are changing the world.
Oh, thanks. Well, you are too.
2 years at a time, listening. Great work that you're doing. Doesn't that show that the Healing Place, the name of your podcast, and how all these people are listening, that the world does need healing, and that we can do it together, and we can empower ourselves to be as clean and bright and keep shining, be who we are, be as conscious as possible. We've been kind of dumbed down for a long time, and now that our hearts are opening up and awakening, I think that COVID was a little bit of a wake-up call, right?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say, and COVID, as horrible as it was, and keeping us separate from each other in so many ways, and obviously deaths and all of that.
Yeah.
But there are gifts within it.
Yes.
Yeah.
With everything. Yeah. And that's something, if we're all of the same essence, and COVID's part of that too, is the divine thinking what it's doing when it's putting COVID on the planet? I kind of have to go back into trust. I just have to trust that the universe knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into politics, but it's like, maybe the universe knows what it's doing. Like, I was like, hey, I just moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I didn't choose this, and where am I going to go now? I need to go to Europe. I can't do this with this election. All of it.
No.
I remember having those thoughts, and a friend talked me off the ledge. She goes, Tracey, the divine is in charge. It wouldn't be happening if it wasn't supposed to be happening. I'm like, okay, maybe the entanglement, the what do you call it? The unraveling that's happening in our world is supposed to be happening. So it's, again, a trust walk. I have to trust what's happening and trust my inner guidance and do the best I can.
I tell my mom that. She's 87 and watches Fox News and tries to tell me all the horrors. I'm like, Mom, I do not watch the news for a reason. I don't want to know about it. The chaos is happening because we have a collective lesson to learn as humans. So it's coming. But like we're starting to get it.
Yep.
Or many of us are. Not everybody, but many of us.
And it's okay. It's just we just keep being who we are.
Exactly. Shining that light.
Yeah. I love it. You're awesome, Terry. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you too. Well, my heart is hugging yours. My soul's hugging yours. Thank you so much for being here and the beautiful work you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us today on the Healing Place podcast. And remember, until next time, be gentle with yourself. Thanks. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody. Terry Wellbrock again. Just wanted to thank you for listening to the episode today and remind you to visit my website as well as the academy.terrywellbrock.com for the courses. But if you go to my website, terrywellbrock.com, you can sign up for my monthly Hope for Healing newsletter, which is also jam-packed with information and strategies and blog pieces and guest blog pieces and links to shows, and just a great space for, again, healing. Thanks for, again, being here and being a part of this healing space. I very much appreciate you. All right. Bye-bye.